Episode 505. The 6 time slots weren't that different. The elite dungeon teams each guild poured their resources into were all roughly equal in power. The real difference came down to the player's skill and a bit of luck inside the dungeon. Before the appointed time, the 5 of them just killed some minor monsters along the shoreline of the lake's central island, leveling up without wasting a moment. As the appointed time drew near, they each dove into their pre-selected spots. Yi Shu and Su Mucheng weren't afraid of aquatic combat, so they had plenty of options. The other 3, however, were all looking to settle things on the way. Tang Ru was looking for a fight, but Thousand City and Monday Morning Quarterback just wanted to bait and taunt their opponents, then lure them over to the god. They weren't fighting a battle of skill, but one of psychology.
How's everyone doing?
Time skipped forward into the zone Yi Shu had marked, and he was already asking questions in the team channel.
Nothing to report.
Nothing's happening. Nothing's up.
Over here, it's Blue Brook Guild.
Thousand City was hidden to one side of the dungeon entrance, waiting for the other player's character to walk in. The first one to pop out, however, had the name of the Blue Brook Guild floating above its head.
Don't worry about Blue Brook Guild.
I know.
As for Blue Brook Guild, we don't need to worry about them. It's just a little awkward. Qianqing didn't show himself. He just drew back further, watching as the 5 members of Blue Brook Guild entered the water and left the dungeon. The observation continued. A dungeon entrance wasn't exclusive to a single guild. In theory, it was possible for all 6 guilds' dungeon teams to have entered through the same portal.
Wow, I got lucky.
Su Mucheng suddenly said in the team chat.
Yeah, what's up?
I've got 2 teams here.
As Su Mucheng watched, one party emerged from the dungeon. Before she could even react, a second party stepped out right behind them. These 2 groups were from Herb Garden and Hornets, respectively. The 2 guild teams appeared right before Su Mucheng. She was just one person, so trying to surround them was a pipe dream. There wasn't much point in trying to be stealthy either, so she didn't bother hiding and simply stood right outside the dungeon entrance. The first team was still reeling in shock when the second one emerged, only to see Su Mucheng's windward smoke, her heavy cannon shouldered, its fire already erupting. "Shit!" they all yelled in unison, scrambling and diving for cover as the shell screamed in. Their fear magnified the impact of Su Mucheng's attack, making it feel less like an anti-tank shell and more like an atomic bomb. The entrance to the Thousand Wave Lake dungeon was a cavern. The anti-tank cannon's blast echoed through the rock, the reverberations leaving all 10 players shaken to their core. They had dodged the blast, but they felt as if death was already upon them. And where was Su Mucheng's windy rain? No one cared. The only question on all 10 minds was, where was there no one? They didn't think too hard. The moment they saw Su Mucheng's character, they knew Ye Chu was nearby. As for the rest doesn't matter anymore. Just these 2 are enough to wipe out their entire team. None of the 10 were hit by the shell, but they scattered in all directions as if knocked over by the blast wave. In every direction except the one facing Windcomb Smoke and Mist, there were sounds of running and splashing into the water.
There's no way they can kill 10 people like this, right?
That's what everyone was thinking, and they weren't wrong. It was just a bit pitiful, because a small few would have to be sacrificed so the majority could survive. Su Mucheng was truly helpless. No matter how skilled she was, she couldn't possibly catch 10 people all by herself in a situation like this. So she just picked one at random and rocketed after him. The poor player who got chosen had just won the unlucky lottery. Su Mucheng's wind-combing smoke and rain fired a cannon shot, hitting him before she even touched the ground. The player was focused solely on fleeing and didn't even try to defend himself. The blast hit him square on the head. A single hit was far from fatal, but his spirit was already broken. He knew any further resistance was pointless. The player was now floating on the water's surface like a corpse, completely motionless. This ridiculous behavior, however, caused Su Mucheng to make a small mistake. From Su Mucheng's perspective, whether you were dodging, running, or looking for a counterattack, the best choice was always to dive first and get out of the opponent's line of sight. So Sumu Cheng was also ready to dive straight to the bottom. Who would have thought this guy would give up so cleanly, just stopping dead in the water? Wind Dancer dove beneath the surface, but overshot the mark by a hair. But Sumu Cheng, who had already noticed, adjusted with lightning speed. This tiny flaw was a glaring vulnerability in the eyes of a pro player, but to this amateur, he had no idea what had just happened. Wind Dancer in the water flipped around, already reoriented. She didn't bother with this player's pathetic lack of reaction. As she unleashed a flurry of attacks, her eyes were already scanning the escape routes of the others. She was determined to make the most of this time, to see if she could take down one more. Without putting up a fight, this player had become a genuine floating corpse, and since they hadn't respawned for ages, they probably weren't even at their computer anymore. Sumu Cheng didn't pay it any more mind. She had already selected her next target during the attack. Firing a shot from underwater, her character was propelled to the surface by the recoil. Amid the spray of water, wind combed smoke and mist was already speeding in pursuit. The technique of flying cannon could be applied underwater as well, making it far faster than simply swimming. From a distance, windward mist could be seen leaping and landing across the water's surface, leaving behind ring after ring of ripples as she sped toward the other player. The other player had spotted Sumu Cheng chasing him down long ago and was now frantically mashing his forward key. He only wished it was a car's gas pedal, because no matter how hard he pressed, it wouldn't make him go any faster. Sumu Cheng had chosen her target carefully. She hadn't picked a class like the Gunner or the Witch, which could use techniques to boost their movement speed. He knew that even if someone 10 times more skilled than her showed up now in this game of cat and mouse on the water, that person would still end up being caught by him. This is one of those somewhat frustrating realities that sometimes exists in competitive gaming. Something built on data like this can't just explode into action.